So what I want to show you is how you can create a repeating background inside of Illustrator. You can use any sort of shape to make your repeating background, and Illustrator is really flexible in how it lets you apply backgrounds, so it's pretty cool and rewarding to be able to make these sorts of backgrounds. The shape that I have is a wave shape, and I've used my appearance palette to add an additional fill color, and I've transformed the upper fill so that it's smaller, and I also have a white stroke on the outside of my wave. So I'm going to use this shape to create a repeating background. With the shape selected, you're going to go up to your Object menu, which I know you can't see, but I'm clicking on Object. I'm going to go down to Pattern, Make, and it's going to open up my pattern option dialog box. It's also going to let me know that the pattern has been added to the swatch panel, and any changes I make with pattern editing mode is going to be applied to the swatch. I'll click OK, and what I can do here is in my pattern option dialog box, I can start to control how the shape is going to tile. So by default, it's just going to place the shape within a bounding box on a grid. We have the tile type setting where we can choose brick by row, which is going to offset each row. And you can see how it's offsetting every other row. We can do brick by column, which offsets the columns. We can do hex by column, which kind of offsets using a hexagonal type shape, or hex by row. I'm going to choose brick by row for this one. And I'm going to check the dialog box that says Size Tile to Art. This is going to make the bounding box fit around the artwork instead of moving the tile slowly with the artwork. If you choose to move the tile with the art, you'll have to use the width and height. If you choose to size tile to art, you're going to use the H spacing and V spacing. So I want my waves to overlap a little bit. So I'm using negative numbers, and I'm just clicking my down arrow key on my keyboard until I get to an overlap that I like. And I'm going to do that for the vertical spacing as well. Now, currently, by default, the artwork that's at the top is going to go in front. I actually want the artwork at the bottom to be in front, so I'm going to click this checkbox, bottom to front, which is going to switch the order of my artwork. And then, using my down arrow key, I can make adjustments once this is in the appropriate position. So I'll choose how much of an overlap I want to use on my artwork. And once I get to a setting that I like, I'll click Done to accept these changes. And now it's updated my swatch. So if I draw a shape on Illustrator and I apply the swatch, and we'll apply that as a fill, you can see that it's going to fill using my new pattern swatch. And so it's just going to fill the shape with this swatch pattern. Now, it is worth noting that if you resize the original element that has the swatch, it's going to stretch the pattern. If you don't want the pattern to be stretched, just apply a different fill. So I'll just apply a solid color, and then I'll go back to my pattern fill, and then it's going to reset. So this is a great little technique. It allows you to create these patterns very quickly and easily. If you ever want to modify the pattern, all you have to do is double click on the pattern from the swatch palette, and it's going to bring you back into your pattern option dialog box, and then you can make the adjustments that you want if you wanted to spread out or squish back together, whatever it is. So you can make those adjustments as necessary, and when you're done, you'll click Done, and it simply is going to update the pattern and make those necessary changes. Making patterns in Illustrator is really easy, and it's a really helpful feature.